I got it.
We want to deal with overcoming self-pity. I realize that the greatest enemy, possibly, if I may use that language, is self-pity. You know, a lot of times people have what they call a pity party. And, we get so down on ourselves. We just wallow and suffer in misery, you know? And possibly we have become a victim of too much bad influences. Possibly we have been trying to appease and make others happy. Trying to satisfy their needs, their desires, where it leaves us empty. And then we look for some external therapy, like social acceptance, which doesn't equate to recovery. We look to be socially accepted amongst our peers and our friends. Clothes that we wear, possibly the cars that we drive, and the jewelry, everything that we maybe put on externally, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a strong possibility that we're looking for some inspiration, right? Something to motivate us. I often realize that even though inspiration is important, but we got to realize that we got to have some aspiration, which means we got to have some personal ambition, some personal drive, you know, because surely, as some religious text says, surely we get what we strive for, you know. And but the trigger, you know, things do trigger us. The most important thing that when something triggers us, we always got to correct it at the thought. The thought. Because if we don't correct it at the thought, then the urge or the craving intensifies. And when the urge and craving intensifies, we act on it. This is the cognitive behavior therapy model. It says thought. First of all, I realize that every thought begins with a seed. If you plant something in the ground, I know it needs to be cultivated, I know it needs to be watered, or something needs to be done, then you want it to grow, right? So the challenge is that we have a challenge in processing negative thoughts. This is the challenge. You say, well, why am I unable to process these negative thoughts? You know, there's several answers to this. But we want to stick to the topic of discussion, is that we're still trying to overcome what? Self-pity. Feeling sorry for ourselves. Why am I am unable to process these negative thoughts, these emotions. And as I said earlier, we've become a victim of too much bad influences, and we have relationship problems. But one thing I realize is that we're also dealing with an unmet need, and we're still dealing with an unresolved trauma. Whatever it may happen in our lives, maybe from early childhood to adolescence and to adulthood, that unmet need and that unresolved trauma is still there. So we'll go try to meet that need, and we may try to meet that need with someone else who may have an unmet need and unresolved trauma. So now we're hooking up with another individual that has an unmet need and unresolved trauma, and they would want you to do things to make them happy. And then when you go about trying to appease them and make them happy, you wind up neglecting who? Yourself. Be careful, man. Be careful. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. You know, and I ain't talking about Houdini. What I like about them most is they're real good what? Real good lovers. But the point that I'm going to make again is that you can have a good friend or a spouse or anyone that still have challenges with their unmet needs and unresolved what? Unresolved trauma. Yeah. Because remember, damn, I forgot how we said it. Of how we act and feel. What was it? Let me see what I got here. I can't even remember the damn thing. Let me see. I want to get it right. Yeah. What we think. Damn, I couldn't even think about that. See, that's what I'm saying. What we think. You would think I would know that. What we think affects how we act and feel. I just want to make sure I get it right. What do you envision for yourself? What do you want for yourself?
A better life.
Yeah. You want a better life? Yeah. So it says, what we think affects how we act and feel. So what you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, is how you're going to act. Then you deal with the emotion. What we feel affects what we think and what we do. What we feel affects, which means impact. What we think. What do we think? And what are we thinking? What are we thinking when we put ourselves in a compromising and jeopardizing situation? What are we thinking? Knowing at any instance that someone is going to take advantage of you, or you're putting your life at what? At stake on somebody else's hand. What are we thinking? Huh? That means that there is really something going on with you, man, when you have some problem about decision, something going on with you mentally, man. Something's going on with you mentally. Yep. So as I stated earlier, that's why I say at times I will step back and I let stuff happen naturally. I have to. Nothing should be forced on anyone. You have to let it what? Naturally. Even in this process, it cannot be what? Forced on you. It's a recovery process. It must happen naturally. And then we get into the what? The behavior now. The behavior, what we do. What we do or what we are doing, let's say that, is based on how we think and how we feel. That's why we do it. You know, which name said this is how we do it. Now, if I go over here, as I heard you all state, someone says, I got some forgiveness to do. The first person you need to forgive is who? Yourself. How do you do that? You got to release the negativity. You got to accept the unacceptable. You got to learn the lesson. And then you're able to move forward. If you don't release the negativity, if you don't accept the unacceptable, if you don't learn the lesson, you're not going to do what? You ain't going to move forward, man. I don't know how simple that can be. And when you move, you can tell if you move forward because you don't be so hard on yourself. You have a little more self-compassion. Don't be so hard on yourself. For example, even though I couldn't think about what we think affects what we do. Think of how we act and feel. I couldn't be hard on myself because I couldn't recall it. I can't beat myself down, man. See, we go after perfection rather than progress. Go after progress, man. Making others happy rather than what? Ourselves. Or yourself. Be happy when you're kind, gentle, caring, loving, and respectful to who? Yourself. Let's get everybody else out of the picture. Do that for who? Do that for you. Do that for yourself. Because you owe it to who? You owe it to yourself. Don't think that people are not doing it for themselves. So maybe it's time for you all to start doing it for who? For yourself, man. For yourself. And you can tell if you're kind and gentle, caring, loving, respectful for yourself by the manner in which you treat yourself. You're not going to let anything on the outside to come in and disrupt that which is going on the inside. Because at the end of the day, you want this 5-letter word, you want to be at peace. Don't let nothing disrupt, interrupt, nor disturb your peace, man. And what you must not let is let your negative emotions, your negative thoughts, your negative feelings, do not let that disrupt, interrupt, and disturb your peace where it puts you in a point where you start having what? Self-pity for yourself. Stuff start to overwhelm you. And when this start overwhelming you, let people overwhelm you, then you need something to take the edge off. And then we turn to something outside of ourselves called a substance to take the edge off. So we want to overcome self-pity. We want to have some personal ambition, some drive, some determination. Sometimes we look for some inspiration, something outside of ourselves, something that will trigger us, but we can't solely rely on that. We want to get to a point of realizing that what we think affects how we act and feel. And the emotion, what we feel affects what we think and do. And the behavior, what we do affects how we think and feel. Overcoming self-pity. And learn how to first forgive yourself. Release all negativity as much as you can. Accept the unacceptable. Learn the lesson. Because that's when the blessing comes, is when you learn the what? The lesson. Move forward. We all want to what? Move forward. We don't want to stay stuck, man. We don't want to stay stuck. Because the substances only offer us a temporary relief. It's temporary, man. I mean, even when we interact with one another, male and female, it offers us temporary what? Relief. That's all. Be more kind and more gentle, more caring, more loving, and more respectful to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself down, man. This world beat us down often too much. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself. Don't do it. Embrace yourself. Love yourself. Care for yourself. Respect yourself. Because at the end of the day, there'll never be another you. I don't care how many children you produce. Their DNA comes from yours, but their DNA is distinctly what? Unique. That's some beautiful stuff. There got to be a higher power somewhere. I'm saying, man. Good God Almighty. So that's just what's up. And, any questions, concerns, comments?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.